So, hi, good morning, and welcome to Gratifi's Talk Show Cultural Champions. And it's really a
Good
privilege
morning.
to get you here today.
Thank you. It's my honor to be part of this
Awesome. So,
discussion.
Subha, the reason we really wanted you to be part of this show is the kind of the career span of 25 years that we see, and the kind of transformation that you have done, not only in the organization but in general in the HR industry, starting from the processes, technology adoption, employee experience. That has been very, very impressive. And that's why today we wanted to speak to you and hear from you that how has been the journey, how do you look forward to the HR industry, and how we can learn from you. So welcome again.
Thank you.
So Saurabh, if I ask you the first question, we currently see that many organizations have started adopting to a hybrid work culture, given the current scenario. And we believe TVS Credit would follow the similar norms as the time comes. Now, how do you plan to
Right.
your workforce is connected to the business? The trust factor is intact, and performance is not compromised as far as the organization and employees put together goes. How do you see this challenge and opportunity?
So, like you rightly said, it's a challenge and an opportunity. And that's what makes it exciting in the first place. So, when organizations, there is always now it's like the industrial revolution and the pre-industrial and post-industrial revolution. It's going to be the pre-corona and the post-corona. I think what children are going to study as times go by in schools. So there are many things that we thought of before corona, which when before the COVID-19 came in, we want to do this, we want to do that. But when the COVID-19 just came and just sat on us, we were forced to do things, accelerate things. So I think many of the things that we thought of, it's not that corona introduced this to us, it's just that we were delaying it.
Mhm.
ठीक है, अभी जल्दी क्या है? I mean, what's the hurry? We can do it. But when it comes to do or die, we didn't have a choice. Then we accelerated it. So that's how it started. So one of the outcome of this was obviously the hybrid work culture that we are experiencing. All the organizations are talking about, including manufacturing, and the services has already been trying to experiment it in small pockets here and there.
Mm.
So I think, the format of office work, everything is going through a change in definition. What is office? Earlier, when I say my office ja raha hu, now, or I'm going to work. Now the two things are different. I can go to my bedroom and say I'm going to office.
Correct.
So as basic as that. So that's what I think is the basic change in thought process and way we are thinking that's activated.
Sure. I mean, as you rightly said, I think it's more of now the acceptance from the organization that work can happen from anywhere, as long as the trust is built and the right infrastructure is given to people to work on. So to that line, ma'am, I would extend my question that what do you believe that what role does technology play to keep people engaged in the organization? And how do you see to increase the adoption of HR tech platforms within the organization?
So now it's become very basic. I mean, I don't even think that without technology we can exist, honestly. So there is no two ways about it. Technology has been the biggest driver, and during the COVID pandemic, to integrate people, work, and all that. People who were not adopting to technology also didn't have a choice. Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and so on had to be pushed into our throat and employees' throat and get them on meetings and all that. But what I really want to say is, see, technology is one thing. It is an aid for us to work better. It's not the be all and end all. And so I think technology is going to be, like I told you, it is going to assist someone to do well, or to be go more productive, or to be better engaged, or whatever. So basically, I would think it has to be something which has a structure when you're implementing something which is tech oriented, with a structured framework, which has an environment where people are able to understand. There is it's going to be continuous, and it's not like, I've decided on a program, and this is this is it. And I mean, the requirement would have changed, but how is it evolving continuously? We need to keep, it's the context of learning and unlearning, same thing. We need to keep, technology also has to keep pace with, in an organization, with what's going on outside, what is the requirement of the person. So basically, not losing the human touch when you bring the technology is the most critical point that I see that's coming up. Then I also think, as an organization, we have believed that we need to be unbiased. We need to be simple in terms of what is the technology, what we need to bring to the table, so that, because we're dealing with a human being at the end of, at the end of the day, it's not about, you don't build tech solutions, you build a humane solution using technology. That's what I would like to insist here. So make it simple, make it easy for everybody to understand and operate. Explain the process, keep it transparent, and keep it open-ended, so that there is a continuous evolving based on the changing requirements when it comes to tech, implementation.
Absolutely. And as you rightly said, the technology is built for human beings. So as long as it addresses the basic needs, obviously the adoption becomes much easier in the organization. So again, extending that, so I would ask you that when did you feel that you need a digital R&R framework in the organization, and how did you secure the management buy-in to have a platform brought into the organization?
See, we represent a very diversified, we are geographically dispersed, diversified organization with the different, obviously cross functions. We have about 17,000 employees, and only 1,000 people are sitting out in Chennai. The rest of them are spread all over India. And we have one person per location, because we are spread around 3,500 locations in, the far reaches of India, in the deep pockets of India, I would say. So our, for us, technology has been the biggest, lever to make whatever we want to communicate, what we want to say as an organization in real time, make it very transparent, make it two ways. I mean, it's not like, I dictate and I don't hear what they want to say. So this, it has helped us in communication, in transparency, in instant recognition, and so on. And more so because, like I told you, the context is we are geographically dispersed with employees sitting across India, in the rural pockets of India also.
Absolutely.
So this has aided me in telling them the essence, the spirit of what they're trying to communicate, because it's fast and it's then and there.
Absolutely. I really congratulate you for getting an organizational buy-in to have the platform for Total Rewards today installed in the organization. Now, if I ask you on that line, that how do you measure the success of this platform in the organization from the standpoint of what are the major objectives you're trying to achieve down the line by using a Total Rewards platform in a digital format?
So to me, the success is, as far as an organization is concerned, I believe the biggest differentiator from one to another is the human capital. That's the most, it's not about money, or it's not about anything else, it's about the human capital. So when it comes to human capital, like I told you, we deal with human beings, and technology is an aid. So for me, the three key important things that I think of as you're asking this is, first, we need to be transparent. Then we need to make it real time. And then we need to make it agile, because each person's requirement changes. Or what, for me, for example, if you take a human being, he doesn't come in the same, mood or space or whatever every day to work. Sometimes he is not well. Sometimes he has a family issue. Sometimes he's in a very energetic mode, or sometimes he wants to do a lot of things. Sometimes he just want to take it slow. So you understand the mood, and then you let him be in that space, but at the same time, you do not have a boundary within which an employee works. Because the thing is, like I told you, it's you are working with a human being. So give him that flexibility, but the agility for the system to recognize how he's performing and then reward him. That's what I mean to say when I say this.
Sure. So, as you mentioned that it's a highly diversified organization, and you also mentioned that every individual comes to the office or maybe working from home with a different mindset, different goals in life. Now, how to bring every stakeholder to a common platform to collaborate and be successful?
So I think this to answer your question, we need to start thinking of this from the designing phase itself, where you involve relevant stakeholders. You understand. I mean, in our case, we understand we work in a diverse organization where employees are, there is cross-functional, there is cross-geography, there is cross-structural, and cross-business. So how do we, bring a cross-pollination?
Yeah,
That's very critical. So biggest achievement here is getting everybody's buy-in. As you rightly said, how do we get that? Is by keeping them involved, taking inputs from them, and letting them design what they want. So they
absolutely.
own it up. And so it's more, there is a lot of empathy when it comes to asking them to design it for us. They get the pain point better than us, right?
Absolutely.
And then see where it fits into the framework of the culture of the organization. And again, take it back to them, discuss with them, and then design the final outcome. So that's how it's been. And like I told you again, it's about instant after the designing process and the rollout and all that. It's about instant appreciation or recognition that we look at and rewards.
Absolutely. I mean, what you just said, it gives me a reflection that it's very, very deep thought process and very well planned initiative that has been taken, where we such a large part of the workforce is today connected and working towards success on a total yours platform. Now, in this unprecedented time, Subha, as you see, your organization has been very, very proactive in terms of helping the employees through this pandemic time. Now, what is your stance on wellness in general for employees? And what do you believe that how much responsibilities, how much initiatives and ownership the business can take to ensure workforce wellness in general?
So first of all, we belong to the TVS group, which has been more than 100 years old in the country, and it has seen many cycles of, depression, industrial revolution, and recession, and still we have survived. It's basically because we've been core to our values, which is trust, value, and service. So we believe that the human comes first, and after that, anything else. So even when the pandemic came, to quote some of the things that we've done, we realized that the employee is a sum total of different emotions, which is he also comes with a well-being of he's worried about his physical well-being, his social well-being, his financial well-being, emotional well-being, and so on, and mental well-being. So we looked at these 5 dimensions, and during COVID, there was we all experienced it. What is going to happen to me? What is going to happen to my family? Do I have the money? Do I have, the wherewithal to get myself admitted? Who will support me and all that? So the company took care of all the challenges which, a normal person would have in the first phase, which is financial security, ensuring the person has adequate support, ensuring that the person can reach out to somebody if he's in trouble, and so on and so forth. Then we launched so many programs, out of which one of the flagship program is the Parivar program, which is where we also take care of an employee's family after his demise. It says that his children are educated till graduation, and give employment to his spouse, and so on and so forth. So we were pioneers in thinking about all this, because for us, what came first is the employee and his family's well-being and safety during COVID. After that came business to us. So I think that has been one of the biggest, learning as far as I think the industries itself learned this, because as I'm seeing outside, most of the companies suddenly realize that, employee well-being, employees have to be taken care, and that has accelerated.
Yeah.
There are certain companies and old companies in India which has been doing it quietly for a long time now.
Yes.
And that's how the retention rate, the engagement rate, the brand recall and sustainability has been there for these organizations.
Yeah.
So that is something that, and the business leaders also echo the same sentiment. The culture is something which is, I think strategy eats culture for breakfast. That's what they say. So the culture is what is unspoken, but you feel it in a place, right? So that's the leadership or the business leaders. Everybody talks or thinks only through this lens, this organization.
So, I mean, we knew that you do take care of employees to a great extent, but I didn't know it was so deep. And I feel so great that employees must be feeling so great about the organization of yours working with and getting such a personal touch, not only from their peers or managers, but in the org in general. And as also mentioned, culture is something that you don't see, but you feel it. And I'm sure it will be in the DNA of the organization, and people must be feeling that very, very deeply today. So I think that's what were my questions today to you, Subha, to get your views on. And that brings to my last question to you: that if I ask you that down the line 5 years, nobody knew that something like COVID pandemic will hit us on
Absolutely.
in a year ago, and today we find ourselves at a different structure altogether, each one of us. So if I take it from here and and I ask you that, how do you see 5 years down the line in terms of organizations and the employees will be working together? What you believe? What changes we'll see as the time goes for next 5 years?
Right. That's a question that everybody are grappling with. But some of the thoughts that I have around it is, like I told you, point number one is the concept of work and office is going to be blurred.
Yeah.
And I also think the concept of employees are going to be blurred. Earlier, it used to be like good old manufacturing people would wear the same uniform, everybody would come to the same building and work. Now you will have different kinds of work force, which is the gig workers, or people who come for a specific. For 2 years there is a contract workers. There are regular workers. So it's going to be. I think loyalty is going to be towards the job at hand rather than going to a specific organization and working there for a long number of years and putting in their 8 hours and all that. So that's something that I think is going to be there. And I think what's going to be more important is how the organization is demonstrating how the employees are taken care of. And how it's listening to its employees, most importantly, because employees are going to be sitting all over the world and working for you. So how are you even understanding what's going on with the employee? That's something that's going to be critical. How are we building knowledge repository? How are we gratifying employees? How are we, recognizing and, like I told you again, rewarding, gratifying employees? So these are the critical things that I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree, Subha, in terms of what you just said, that the primary definition of workplace is going to change. It's no more office. It can be anywhere where I'm able to contribute for my organization's sake. So congratulations, and thank you for coming to our Cultural Champion talk show.
Thank you. Thanks for the time and the opportunity.